making a gorgeous ruby-stained gravlax in today's daily dish. And if you're wondering what gravlax is, Chef Paul Lillakas is here to tell you. Chef, tell us about this dish and its origins.
Yeah, so Tracy, this one hits really close to home for me because gravlax is essentially just cured salmon that originates in Nordic, Scandinavian, Baltic countries. And the word gravlax literally means buried salmon. So it comes from a time centuries ago. It was a preservation technique where they didn't have refrigeration, so they would wrap up salmon with salt and sugar and then bury it to keep it cold. Now, today's version is a lot simpler to make, and actually, this is a beautiful DIY.
So you don't have to dig this in your backyard and bury it. This is what I want to know. What's the difference between gravlax and smoked salmon?
That's a great question. I think a lot of people confuse the two. It's quite simple. Gravlax is simply cured, whereas a smoked salmon looks very similar, but it's cured and then it's cold smoked. You don't need a smoker for this. All you need are a few simple ingredients, and you can do this in your fridge.
Okay, well, great segue. Here are the ingredients you're going to need for this recipe, everyone. And Paul, where do we begin? Okay,
so we start with a piece of really good quality salmon. You want fresh, organic if you can, sushi grade if you got it. Go to a fishmonger, talk to them, they'll tell you what's fresh. And I've taken a 9 by 13 inch casserole and I've just lined it with a whole lot of plastic cellophane. And now we just have to start layering in these great ingredients that are going to preserve this over the next 48 hours. So I have a 4-pound piece of salmon, skin on, I've halved it, and I have a mixture of equal parts sugar and sea salt. And I'm going to liberally, this seems like a lot, but remember, we are curing this. A lot of this is going to get washed off. I'm pouring that on. I want to get some on the skin side as well, about a third of it. And then I'm going to add these ingredients that are going to flavor it. So first of all, this is ruby stained. It's going to have a beautiful red color from beet. I have a grated beet. I'm going to add that right on top and make sure it's distributed nice and even. Now, it wouldn't be Scandinavian, Nordic without a whack of dill, so I've got an entire bunch chopped up, and I'm adding that, as well as a whole lemon, and then some fresh cracked black pepper, liberally, and start adding some more of that salt mixture. And there's one other ingredient that's very traditional. That's some kind of a spirit. So I'm going to add a half a cup of vodka. That gives it a nice clean flavor. It's also a preservative. And now get the rest of that curing mixture onto this piece. Sandwich it like this. The rest of it goes on top just like that. And we're going to wrap this up as tightly as possible. You know, that tradition of burying it puts pressure on it. So it puts the pressure on. A lot of that liquid comes out. So the curing mixture pulls that liquid out. But we're going to emulate that just by wrapping this really nice and tight. Whoop. And of course I made a mess, but that's okay. Give it a nice tight wrap, and then it just goes into the fridge.
Okay, cool. So it's got all that salt and all that good stuff in it. It's basically curing then at this point, Chef?
That's right. So all curing is letting something sit in a salt sugar mixture. It pulls out that moisture, like I said. So I have one that I've cured for 48 hours. I flipped it every 12 hours or so. And I know this is going to scare some people. It looks scary, but a lot of that liquid, it's red from the beet, of course, and the vodka. Some of that's come out. But now this is ready to be rinsed. And you scrape all that salt off, and look how beautiful this thing is. This is a really impressive thing. A lot of people don't think they can do this at home, but you totally can. And you can just slice beautiful paper-thin slices right off the skin.
Gorgeous. Okay, so you can find this great recipe for this gorgeous gravlax up on our website. That's cityline.tv.